My name is Diane Reed, and I developed the website rejuvenating-smartboards.weebly.com. So before I go ahead and showcase the piece to you, I did want to give you a little bit of background information about this particular project that I developed for CECS 5200. So in terms of, sorry about that, in terms of the actual focus behind the piece that I developed, the main idea was to revive a decade-old technology that a lot of classrooms have, and that is the smartboard. And I wanted to revive it not only within classroom instruction, but also in instructional technology training. Now, the theme behind this particular project was to present a contemporary and modern series of adaptations to the current smartboards that are on the market, regardless of the particular type or group that have developed them, and make it applicable to current environments. Currently, there are so many outdated resources that are available on the internet. Many of these pieces haven't been touched probably since the early 2000s, and I wanted to bring to the market something newer and something more modern. Now, my targeted audience for the project were teachers that are K through 12, because again, with the resources that are out there, not many middle school resources or high school resources are available for smartboards. There's plenty for elementary teachers, but not for that higher ed. Also, I wanted the piece to be applicable to technology trainers as well. Now, in terms of the multimedia technology that I utilized, there's a series of 4 listed in front of you right now. Obviously, the smartboard, also known as an interactive whiteboard. You're going to see that there were some social media environments that I brought to the foray because I wanted to make this contemporary, I wanted to make this modern, adding a lot of YouTube videos, not of necessarily tutorials, but of utilizing the board in action. And lastly, you're going to see a major technology incorporation listed on the website, focusing in on how to use smartphones, laptops, and tablets, along with virtual reality and augmented reality with the smartboards. Now, the design behind the project was very image forward. I presented a lot of particular images on each page, and the idea behind that was to really bring to the forefront the learner interaction with the device. Again, a lot of images that you see out on the internet, you have the instructor or you have the trainer that touches the board. And in real life, it should be the absolute opposite of that. So I wanted to make sure to incorporate that. The color scheme, I did choose a theme that was already prepared by Weebly. So the actual colors that you're going to see are very primary. They're very bold, blues, yellows, reds. And the design itself, or the layout I should say, each web page has one headlining image at the very top. And the idea there is for my readers or my users of the website to look and have an aha moment that this is what it should look like in the classroom, or this is what it should look like in the learning environment. For future aspirations, something that I did wanted to bring up was the idea that even before Rejuvenating Smartboards was available online, I was promoting it to a series of communities. You can see on that third bullet point something listed about a C community. I'm part of a group of folks known as Smart Exemplary Educators, and these are folks like myself that are very involved with smart brand smartboards, and we're trying to promote learning and strategies for their use. And earlier this summer, in July, their annual global summit was occurring at their headquarters in Calgary. And I went ahead and I actually promoted this beginning piece, this developing piece to that community to start spreading the word of rejuvenating these boards, bringing them back to life. The actual community that I have provided on the website for others is to help promote the idea of sharing ideas and borrowing ideas from one another. And the last bullet point that you're going to see in front of you is the idea that I want to continue growing this website, especially when new technologies approach the market. So when newer ideas come out, my hope is to really dive into them, understand them, and bring ideas to the forefront of my website. Hey, teachers, hey, trainers, look how you can incorporate this brand new technology. So now I want to go ahead and give you a guided tour of my website, Rejuvenating Smartboards. smartboard.weebly.com. So this is my home page. You're going to see that nice design in the back and a really posing question. Has your smartboard begun to collect dust? And the idea is I'm here to combat that. We are all here to combat that. The idea of how did we get here is actually going to bring you to my resources page, or the research itself. And all the way to the left, you can see my series of resources that I used. But something else I did want to bring up was this piece on the right-hand side, the original design. Back this fall, I developed a paper about rejuvenating or reviving smartboards, about how they are the 21st century instructional technology tool. And the actual piece that I created for CECS 5030, my research paper, it is available for folks to take a look at if they'd like. Going back home, what you're going to see in terms of how we're here to combat that is a mission statement. The idea of rejuvenating the original vision of the board when it first came on to the market, but not only that, but to promote its exceptional adaptation to communicate and support additional technologies. We have a little bit of history about the board itself. The 4 major reasons I found in my research regarding why smartboards are losing their momentum, why they're not as prevalent as they used to be. And finally, how we're going to fix this. How do we bring this information back? And the way we're going to do that is not only exploring new ideas, not only revisiting the ways that the smartboard is currently being used, but connecting with others, sharing the information that's out there. So the next piece is my setup piece. And something I don't believe a lot of people take into consideration is where exactly is this smartboard in the learning environment? And it truly is key, depending on where you put it, whether it is going to be stationary or a roving board. That's how you're going to get the interaction with it. So I bring to the viewers of the website different ways to look at how the smartboard is placed in a classroom. So we've got this gallery of unique photos. Where exactly is the board being placed in the circumference of the classroom in terms of where the learners are versus where the teacher is at. So, and something else to consider too, a lot of these particular images that I popped up, I was trying to search for K through 12 environments. So obviously this particular environment that you see right now is for middle level and higher education. And taking another scroll down, if someone's really having difficulty envisioning how their room can look, this particular image, if you click on it, it'll bring you to Smart Technologies Classroom Tour, and it will go ahead and show you how exactly could you place in real time this board with a little bit of a simulation. In other terms of the setup, we have a whole group setting. So how exactly do you use the smartboard where all the students are participating at the same time? So making sure that folks understand what's whole group instruction, what are the benefits behind that, how can the board actually look, or where should it be if you're looking for whole group instruction, as well as ideas for how to best use the smartboard in a whole group setting. So each one of these items are links. So ways to use a smartboard for whole group could be brainstorming with classroom management, with note-taking, to reinforce some skills with the students or the learners, and to review. And these wonderful YouTube videos are actually showing you, again in real time, how exactly are the learners and how is the instructor utilizing the smartboard in a whole group setup or setting. I also have it for small group, and small group setting is when we have smaller clusters of students where they're reviewing. So again, this setup looks almost identical to whole group, except now we're speaking solely about small group instruction. Best ways to use the smartboard in small group. Then we move on to technology incorporation. So again, the idea behind the smartboard is that it's really a bridge that's connecting all the new technologies that are out there. A lot of people don't believe necessarily that the smartboard can compete, that it's become this outdated, ancient technology, and that's not true. And the way that we can incorporate newer technologies, it's relatively simple. So within the technology incorporation section of my website, I present to my users and readers ideas of how to use the smartphone with the smartboard. So we've got using the device or the smartphone as a smartboard? How do you control the smartboard with a smartphone? What kind of apps are actually out there to make your smartphone act like a whiteboard for interaction? I've got a small little listing of statistics about using smartphones in classrooms and just kind of bringing that idea to educators not to be afraid to use that technology. Next, with incorporation, we have tablet and laptops. Again, same follow through, same setup as what the smartphones looked like. How could you use the tablet and the laptops with your smartboards? How could they interact with one another? I have another video of how does this look so my users could see how it works. One piece that I thought was one of my babies was the idea of virtual reality and augmented reality. And the smartboard itself can be somewhat of a missing link to bring that new great idea in education to not only a classroom, but to a learning environment in itself. So again, same idea. I'm presenting ideas to my users about how to use augmented reality or virtual reality with your smartboard. So again, just coming back to the idea, let's bring the smartboard in, let's make it viable. Next up, we have the flipped classrooms and blended learning. Ideas and methods of how to incorporate the smartboard into these two newer teaching strategies. Now, this particular page really explains the idea of what's flipped learning versus what is blended learning. And really to make my readers and my users understand, as an educator or a trainer, what have I done to adjust my teaching with the times? So just looking through this homepage of flipped learning and blended learning, you can see some of my title menus and then how you actually bring in the smartboard. And it's kind of a twofold process. The smartboard itself can be a recording studio for flipped learning, or it can be a learning center for blended learning environments. And there's a little bit more information about flipped classrooms. If someone perhaps is really wanting to get into this concept, I bring up some links, some stepping stones, some essentials that can help them incorporate this new strategy into learning. And I also have, for those that really aren't convinced, maybe they need a little bit more backup, a little bit more information, well, these links such as the teacher testimony, such as the statistics and infographics of how flipped classrooms work, really starting to get the user to think maybe just changing the way I teach could help me bring the smartboard in. So again, going back to my top menu navigation here, I go into what exactly is the recording studio with the smartboard. How does it act in that way? How do you utilize it? Some tips on starting up, on pairing devices, on posting videos that you make, knowing what to record. I've got some wonderful YouTube videos that talk about how do you use the smartboard as a recording device. And then discussing the smartboard as a learning center for a flipped classroom or for a blended learning environment. Again, how does the smartboard work in this situation? And ways that you would go ahead and utilize the smartboard as this learning center within this new environment. So we've got images again to represent what it would look like, ways with these red links to go ahead and use your smartboard as a learning environment, and other little tips and tricks I've come across that would really best blend this smartboard into a blended learning environment. Okay, finally in the navigation menu, as we round this out, there's a few more links. Tried and true methods go ahead and showcase the classics. So what do people think about when they hear of a smartboard or an interactive whiteboard? What are these items that are, as I say, tried and true? We have links below showcasing the different ways that you can use the smartboard and kind of classic methods. Back at the navigation menu, we have the Connect link. And this is a place for folks to go ahead and share their ideas as well as develop ideas. I have these small red social media icons that if you go ahead and click on each one, it will bring you to a new page. I'm opening up an Instagram currently, and this Instagram is showcasing smartboard and smart technologies. If I were to go to the Twitter link, Twitter is going to go ahead and open up for us, and this particular Twitter feed comes from Smart Tech as well. Wonderful ideas, wonderful articles being brought to the forefront regarding smartboards, and not just the Smart brand, but Promethean as well. And one of my favorite aspects about this Connect page, it's simplistic, very wonderful though, the idea of a comment board where folks can go ahead and make personal connections there. Last but not least, is my contact page within this whole project. And this is just a little background about myself as an educator and innovator. And yes, I am a little bit of a smartboard junkie as well. I have my contact form here, a little bit of my background, and as well, I also have my C badge, or Smart Exemplary Educators badge. So this website has definitely been an absolute labor of love. It is something that I have extreme affection towards, and it's something that I wish to share with the world. And having this opportunity with CECS 5200 has allowed me not only the time, but to really think about how to present the idea. I'm extremely proud of this piece. I do hope that it makes its way out there in the world of educators and trainers to bring back that 21st century technology, the smartboard.